We will request Bharath join the lab. Let us start.
Yes, ma'am. I'm starting with the introduction part. So, greetings and a warm welcome to all the dignitaries present here. I'm Sreelaxmi from Planet, serving as the allocated session assistant to ensure a seamless experience. Planet stands as India's most relied upon digital platform, offering a multitude of enriching services exclusively for the doctors. It is with great pride that Planet serves as the digital partner for this event hosted by the Association of Medical Women in India. And the focus of today's session is AMWI India World Health Day Together for All. So let's begin today's session, for which I would like to invite Dr. Sonali Deshmukh ma'am to take over for the welcome address. Let me introduce her once.
Please keep your this thing
mute.
Yes,
there is some background noise. Can we mute that?
Yeah, I will mute myself. So, Dr. Sonali ma'am holds degrees in MBBS, DNB, FICOG, FMAS. Ma'am is Assistant Professor of OBGY at GGMC and JJH. I'm past Assistant Professor of OBGY at BJGMC Pune, 2020 to 22. Past Assistant Professor of OBGY at RC SMGMC Kolhapur, 2018
for the
to
kind
20.
introduction.
Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
It's short, and thank you so much. Good evening, respected dignitaries, esteemed speakers, and dear participants. On behalf of the Association of Medical Women in India, it is my proud privilege to welcome you all to this special webinar on the occasion of World Health Day, theme Together for All. This webinar has been thoughtfully designed by our National President, Dr. Mandakini Megh, Madam, beginning with the introduction to the World Health theme, followed by key addresses and rich scientific sessions. Important topics like menstrual health, hygiene, non-communicable disease, violence against women, and mental health across generations will be discussed. Now, I would like to begin and like to appreciate the efforts of Dr. Gauri Karandikar, who has been a key part, and I would like to hand over to Madam. Please give the slide for Gauri Karandikar, ma'am. Yeah. Gauri Karandikar, madam, she is an MD, DGO, FCPS, and also FICOG, LLB, PGDA. She is a director and lead consultant at Karandikar Hospital, Nashik. She is a managing committee board member of PCOS Society, joint secretary of AMWI, secretary of the Adolescent Health and Medicine, president of Nashik OBGY Society.
Okay.
Ma'am has got many awards. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes. So thank you so much, Sonali, for your introduction. So welcome everyone, and this year's theme of 2026 World Health Day is Together for All, Stand for Science. So on behalf of Association of Medical Women in India, we decided to work on this mission, and the mission of this Together for All is coming through where we are coming together to work for medical women to start with. You know, we always say that you begin with yourself, and then this first webinar of this series is now focused on medical women per se. So we start with ourselves, that is the medical women doctors of India and in the world, and the issues that we are facing. So today's webinar has been crafted to cover the major issues that are being considered as important in in the medical women health of the world, and also which is going to influence the work that is going to be done by AMWI in the coming future. So without spending more time, I think we would move on to listen to, I will go back to Sonali, who would take the session further.
Okay. Next is the address by the AMWI President and release of the AMWI theme for 2026 to 2028, Her Health, Nation's Wealth, Holistic Approach on Well-Being of Women, by none other than Dr. Mandakini Megh, madam. Can we have Madam's CV, please? Madam is the National President of AMWI. Ma'am has been the chairperson of ICOG FOXY 2020 to 2021, International Vice President of MWI Central Asia, and Vice President of FOXY. Ma'am has got many accolades. She has been the past Dean, Kama Superintendent, Chairperson of Imaging Science Society, Deputy Director of Health Services, advisor officer. Thank you, ma'am.
Enough.
I can go on and on about ma'am.
Yeah, but the highlight of Madam's introduction is that she has been now elected as the president of the Medical Women International Association. And so she will be taking over her post as president in 2028. So that is one big feather in her cap.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. So now, welcome everyone. And our chief guest is held up in the meeting. So he will be joining as soon as he can. Can I share the slide, please? Can you stop sharing?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Welcome, Swarna. Swarna, welcome. So I'm just.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
I think it is all Madam's energy and Madam's, passion for women's health and medical women's health in particular. Yeah, see this.
Yeah. So welcome everybody on the board and to this wonderful webinar, which has been, crafted by Dr. Gauri Karandikar, Suvarna Khadilkar, and Sonali Deshmukh, our young women, leader of young women, and we are projecting her at the world level also. So welcome everyone, all my team and all the viewers, and also they are, I think circulating it into the YouTube or whatever this thing. Just now I had a talk with our chief guest. So he is in a meeting with the principal secretary. He will join us as soon as he's back. So in the meantime, as Gauri said, that this year's theme is the Her Health, Nation's Wealth. So it is a holistic approach to well-being of women. And it goes so well with the international theme of Dr. MWIA S4 because her theme is, the SDG goals for the women's health. So we unveil this, and I think this is the very first slide of Her Health, Nation's Wealth, and you can see the logo. So all our national branches also going to use this logo on their programs and other seminars, etc. Now, I wanted to show it to Dr. Ambadekar. Actually, this slide was meant for him. But later on, again, I will show that our AMWI is a 100-year-old organization, 120-year-old organization, and it has celebrated its centenary in 1907. It has, established in 2007. It was centenary when I was the president, and Dr. Ambadekar has told me specifically what is tell me about your organization. That is how I made this slide, and you can see all historical figures. S.M. Krishna, our honorary Rajyapal was there. Then Dr. Usha Saraya Madam, Vimal Mundala was a health secretary, and Dr. Ena Dani was our principal secretary. And it was a beautiful program at Raj Bhavan. And our association was established in 1907 at Kaman Elbliss Hospital. And we had this platinum jubilee where colposcopy, cytology, and the mission hospital was started. So these 3 slides basically is for those people who wanted to know a little bit about the AMWI. Later on, of course, me, Gauri, and Sonali, we are going to distribute a sort of a film or the presentation to everyone so that you know more about the AMWI. This is our team of the 25 to 28. So AMWI is a national organization committed to advancing the holistic well-being of the women throughout and the advocacy, awareness, action, and alliances. So with India at the forefront, this transformative, this theme is there. For the advocacy, we are having the championing the policy changes for the women's right, awareness, educating communities on women's health and rights, action on ground program, which I think we have already started doing, and alliances we are building with the international alliance, WHO. And I want to inform the audience here that myself and Dr. Usha, our Vandana Bharvekar Madam, who is our Vice President, we will be attending the WHO meeting, that is a World Health Assembly in the month of May, and our organization is affiliated officially with the WHO. And what are our 4 focus areas? So these are the 4 focus areas, that is menstrual health and hygiene. So I think this is a very well thought, and our joint secretary and others have helped me to to reach to this conclusion. These are the four major areas, and it is going well with the theme of the international president. So menstrual health and hygiene, safe dignified menstruation for every girl, and ending the stigma, ensuring the access and product. I remember one of the commissioner, Madam Mrs. Takekara, I was traveling to the Nashik that time. What has happened is that she said, Ki, why there are no girls in the, we visited few schools there for the adolescent, and there were no girls. So they said, Madam, there is no toilet, and there is nothing to be privacy. So question of menstrual pads and it doesn't arise only. So not a simple basic toilet to change their the pads, or having the privacy. That was the era. I think it was 10 or 12 years back, but it was a very pathetic condition while every. So now we are more focusing on the even the toilets for the girls in the school. Then we are coming to the non-communicable diseases. Dr. Ambadekar, who is in charge director for the director of health services for the all the national health program, that is non-NCD.
गुड आफ्टरनून मॅडम. पीए गीते बोलतोय.
बोला बोला.
सर थोडे 15-20 मिनिट होतील जॉईन थोडंसं.
नाही होऊन जाऊ दे. हा
पीएस सरांची विसी मध्ये थोडं एक रिक्वेस्ट आहे.
नाही
आम्ही ट्राय करतो मॅडम पुढचं.
नाही, पण तुम्ही इकडेच बसले राहा, तुमचं चालू ठेवा. तुम्ही इकडेच राहा, म्हणजे तुम्हाला कळेल काय. So non-communicable diseases, Dr. Ambadekar is in charge for all the, he is such a excellent officer, and he told me that we can do many programs with the coordination, collaboration with the government of Maharashtra. So I'm extremely happy to inform all of you that we will be having a lot of support of government of Maharashtra. Then we have mental health. So breaking the silence on the depression, anxiety, trauma. So this is also a very sensitive area of the women's health, and I think it is well thought subject. We must do something about it, and we must make more awareness about the mental health. We should talk about, and of course the violence against women. We have our team ready. Gauri is the in charge of the program, and we are doing all over the world the training program, and this is again a very important program. So menstrual health and NCDs, around 355 million women, girls are menstruating. So what exactly are the priorities? The priorities are breaking the taboos, ensuring the affordable and eco-friendly menstrual products, then training the frontline health workers, and advocating for a period poverty-free India. So these are our actually priorities. And NCD priorities is very important, because you can see the 66%, 66% of the NCD deaths are preventable. And due to digital health, due to telecommunication, so this death should be coming down with the help of the new the artificial intelligence or whatever newer things have come. We aim at connecting it and reducing the preventable death. That is the NCD priorities for women. Then it should be gender sensitive NCD screening. It's not a common that male, female, everybody comes. We should find out women, how many women are suffering from diabetes, hypertension, cardiac diseases. Integrate the NCDC care with the maternal and the other reproductive health services, community outreach for hypertension and cervical cancer, advocate women specific clinical trial. This is very important, Gauri, because we are lacking in the research. So we must concentrate on some women's specific clinical trial and research funding. We should try, and that is also I discussed with the world president, and she also agrees that we must do something about it. Now the mental health, 1 in 5. So mental health priority is we have to destigmatize the mental health, train the community workers, safe and accessible helplines, and address the trauma and postpartum depression, which was not talked about. Once the delivery happens, we just forget the woman and we concentrate on the baby. So, these are the newer aspects of the health of the women, and we should concentrate on them. Now the violence against women, of course, legal literacy, strengthening the survivor support, engaging the men and boys, very important. Push for the faster justice. So all this we are going to do. We are aligned with the Sustainable Developmental Goals. That is AMWI's 4 focus area. Directly advance these 6 very important SDG goals. Of course, SDG 3 is good health and well-being. SDG 5 is gender equality. SDG 6 is clean water and sanitation. And then SDG 10 is reduced inequalities. SDG 16 is peace, justice, and institutions. And 17 is a partnership for the goals. So these are all we are actually collaborating, advancing, and we are into it. So India is leading the way. India is uniquely positioned to lead the global action on women's health with the world's largest democracy and civil society, powerful women, and G20 presidency legacy of putting the gender equity at the global level policy. So these are the all very important, the pillars of this policy. That is, we are leading the way. So friends and colleagues, so this is my message, and I'm not going to read this message. This I will like to give it when Dr. Ambadekar comes. But this is the message that we must prioritize whatever I have described, and I think we will be taking help of all the young people, all the private practitioner, other people. Should I stop sharing? मला ते शेअरिंग दिसत नाहीये.
Yes, ma'am.
We
नाही,
can.
I can't stop. मला ते दिसत नाहीये. I don't know.
No problem. Shreyasi, you can take
Yes,
over.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
I'm sharing. I'm
Can
stop sharing your screen, ma'am, from my end.
yeah, that will be so nice. Yeah. So now, please, Sonali, take over again. And
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Madam, our chief guest is yet to join, no, ma'am?
Yes.
Shall we go to our
Here
other session, ma'am?
Yeah, but I will request Swarna Khadilkar not only as our secretary, but also the FIGO, the Foxy secretary. I will like her to say a few words about this World Health Day. Swarna?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Swarna बोलोगे? Swarna.
Suvarna ma'am, I think is
2 minutes. She is Foxy. What is the stand?
Yeah.
Let us. Can I call her? जरा थोडं बोलू शकता जरा? मॅडम तुम्हाला बोलायचं असं म्हणतात.
Okay, can we ask Gite sir whether sir is free and he can join us?
He will take 15 minutes. He will take 15 minutes.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
No. He will take 15 minutes. तर आपले सुवर्णा खाडीलकरला बोलून घ्या, नाही तर let us start.
Let us start, ma'am.
Yes,
because she will.
Yeah, let us start then. If she is not there, yeah, no problem.
Sonali, can we proceed with our session? Sonali, we'll proceed with our session. Dr. Sonali?
मला वाटतं hers was, I think, frozen.
So, Dr. Sonali, can we move ahead?
तिला ऐकून येतंय.
Oh,
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so we, Dr. Suvarna looks like she's busy. Shall we start with the scientific session?
Yeah. Welcome, Vandana madam.
वंदना म्हणा जरा सरळ होऊन बसावं.
No, let's go with the session now instead of Sonali, please proceed with the introduction of our speaker. Dr. Shreyasi, can we have the first CV slide of Dr. Meenakshi? Yeah.
Dr. Shreyasi madam, can you please?
Yeah, she's already shared it. Sonali, I think you have a lag.
Yeah. Okay. Dr. Meenakshi Bharath is a gynecologist with 35 years of experience specializing in fertility work. Her medical practice consists of making it easy for couples to undergo treatment to have children. Prevention is better than cure, and has always been her mantra. Her other passion stems from this mantra. She looks to prevent diseases caused by improper management of garbage, from segregation to composting to using only reusable wet utensils and having a waste-free wedding for her children. She's extremely active in converting people to sustainable ways of living. Having retired from active medical practice in 2018, she brings her passion for gynecology and waste management together in the campaign Green the Red, advocating reusable menstrual hygiene products like the cloth pads and the menstrual cups. Her aim is to make all women enjoy the periods, not dread it, and make it to ensure no trash comes out of it. Advocacy has led her to talking to the state government in Karnataka and spreading the concept of sustainable menstrual products usage amongst the gynecologists across the country since Jan 2019. She has trained many OBGY societies. She has been a prime mover in making Rotary change to distributing cloth and menstrual cups instead of disposable sanitary pad. Her knowledge in gynecology has eased fears about menstrual cup in over 1 lakh women and converted them to having rash-free, trash-free and cash-free periods. We welcome you, madam.
Shreyasi, can we have madam's presentation?
Dr. Meenakshi Bharath, madam, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, madam has a presentation. Shreyasi,
Yeah, it's been
please
given.
share?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sure.
So till her presentation is shared, I could really say that, Dr. Meenakshi has put in so much effort over so many years for advocating menstrual cup that, when I was the first time before I got introduced to her, one of my friends in Bangalore said, oh, she's the menstrual cup woman of Bangalore. So, that is how she's been known, and that is the level of work that she has, put in and advocated for this kind of eco-friendly menstruation. And she has been quite a inspiration for me as well in my journey when I have been started working on this issue, which is so important. So over to you, Meenakshi ma'am. Your presentation is here.
Thank you very much. So the idea is that the gynecologists are leaders in women's health, and they need to first use the menstrual cup to know how comfortable it is, how easy it is, and how eco-friendly it is. And health also improves significantly. So unless the gynecologists experience it, people like me are menopausal, but I still tried it for one day and it is worth doing it. So the idea is that we need to promote this. Unless every person who has any doubts about it will come to a gynecologist, and at that point, it is necessary that you talk about it in a positive fashion. So this is how growing up is exciting. About periods, we need to talk to every girl child, and this poster needs to be put up in every bathroom, in every school, so that they understand that periods are coming and how helpful it is. Next. So the impact of single-use disposables on our health, on our environment and economics is really huge. And we need to understand this and take it forward so that all these impacts are not detrimental to our health. Next. So we have to stop using all this. Next. And we also need to stop creating the garbage that is being produced by all these single-use disposables. Next. Since 1960, we've been using sanitary pads and tampons. It's a 20th century design. We are now in the 21st century and we need to change to the newer products. We have changed to so many new products that we need to change on our menstrual hygiene also. Next. So every woman uses a pad which only soaks 5 ml of blood. And through our period, we will have 60 ml of blood. So we approximately use anything between 10 and 15 pads per period per woman. So therefore, it is necessary for us to understand and change what we are using. Like I said, that is the 20th century product. 21st century में क्या मिलता है? That is what we have to understand. Next. So this is the uterus, and the uterus makes a lining, which is the endometrium, which thickens up. And by day 16, it is the thickest, which is about 10 to 12 millimeters. By day 2022, it's ready to shed. And by day 28, we have our periods. So through our periods, we're not bleeding Ganga Jamuna. We are just bleeding 4 to 5 tablespoons, nothing more. But because the sanitary pad holds only 5 ml, it looks like so much of blood is going. So if we make that person understand, the lady understand that you're not bleeding Ganga and Jamuna, she will be more relaxed during her periods. Next. So we must love our periods because it is the hormone that gives us feminine figure. The estrogen gives us good skin, makes our bone strong, makes our heart strong, and helps to maintain the pregnancy that we want so much over the 9 months. It also helps to keep our gastrointestinal tract good and keeps our metabolism in good condition. Next. So if we explain these things to the woman, she will love her periods and not hate it. And what can we do during our periods? Actually, all athletes have found that they are performing better during their periods. So we can do every possible thing. Remove this fear of I must be resting, I must be resting. It is not necessary to be resting during your periods. No restriction of food, and you can sleep in any direction. Next. So white discharge is there, but it is normal unless there is itching and unless there is foul smell. Next. So myths that don't need to be, accepted. The hair in the groin must be left there and you don't need to shave it or wax it. Again, don't use any vaginal washes because the vagina has its own mechanism to keep it clean. So don't take away the good bacteria that is there in the vagina. Keep it. Don't use any of the vaginal douches. Next. So 336 million menstruating women. And though we don't have 100% compliance to using disposable sanitary napkins, 12.3 billion pads are annually used in India. And we need to reduce this because it produces enormous trash, enormous expenditure, and enormous discomfort during the period time that we are using it. So on all three fronts, no trash, no rash, and no cash. So if we want women to be comfortable during our periods, we must change to using cloth pads, which was the old thing, and the newer menstrual cup, which has come into being now and is available everywhere. It needs to be popularized. Next. So pads is a 20th century design. We need to stop using it. Next. So the National Geographic said that the pads and the tampons are made up of plastic, 4 plastic bags in one pad. So we need to stop using it because it will forever remain on earth. Next. We think that it's convenient. We think it is thin. We know it is leak proof. It's not hygienic. We need to understand that. And the pads bloat to 30% bigger than that and clog all the drains. That is what makes it the biggest problem. And making menstrual hygiene, the blood smell. So we need to Fan band kar do. We need to not use it. Next. What is hiding in your pads? There are adhesive chemicals, unknown fragrances, pesticide residues, dioxins and furans, which we all know is the way to create more cancer in us. And endocrine disruption happens, cancer is produced, and allergic rash also happens because of various things that don't suit our body. Next. This, as gynecologists, all of us know that the uterus is just the size of a fist. Next. So the problems we face is chafing of the thighs and genitals, cystitis, malodor associated with periods, and with tampons, there's leaks, dryness of the vaginal mucosa. Next. So when in any city, more than 100,000 kgs of sanitary waste is produced in a day. And the best way to reduce it is to use the menstrual cup, wherein women from 20 to 50 can use it without any problems. And one cup will last them 10 years. So they save 1,800, instead of 1,800 disposable sanitary napkins, one menstrual cup can be used with great comfort, with great health, great economics, and no trash. Next. So the sanitary pad, disposable sanitary pad, when we throw it in, lands in the landfill and creates so much of trash, and it'll remain on earth forever. Next. Incinerators are no good. They have to be burnt at 900 degrees. We only, incinerators burn only up till 200 degrees. And all of us know summertime, 30 to 40 degrees we can't bear. So just imagine if there is an incinerator near our house, what will happen to the ambient temperature next to us. Next. So drains get clogged, and we have to get Safai Karmacharis to go inside the drain and manually clean the drain, because the pad, as I said, swells up and blocks the drain. Next. So it spoils the water, it spoils the soil, and it spoils the environment. So why must we stop using disposable sanitary pads? These are the reasons for it. Next. So biodegradable also don't work because they're expensive, they're single use, they have to be thrown, and there is no way that we are going to be able to compost it. Next. So on an average, a woman spends between 50 and 150 rupees per month, and so in her lifetime, she'll spend 50,000 rupees, which is why we have the concept of period poverty. They can't afford the disposable pads, and because they can't afford the disposable pads, they use unhygienic substances. Next. I explained to you, period poverty is a concept that we imagine that the disposable sanitary pad is healthy for us and therefore we buy it. Instead, if we use the cloth pad, wash it at home, put it out in the sun, because in India we have no dearth of sunshine, and use it for the younger girls. And once you are 16 to 18, you can use the menstrual cup and you will be forever comfortable. Next. During your periods. So if you look at the cost, the disposable sanitary pad is 8 rupees per pad. The cloth pad is 400 per set, but it lasts you 2 to 3 years. And the menstrual cup may be anything between 300 to 500 rupees and will last you 10 years. So the cost comparison is amazing. Next. So both these products are now the 21st century products that are available to us. Next. So reusable cloth pads have a lining at the back, which is what makes it proof, leak proof, so that our clothes don't get stained. That was the biggest problem with what? The cloth pads that our grandparents used to use. Next. Move. Healthier, greener, fasten to the underwear. Move to the next one. Washed easily. Next. Given to the schoolgirls, they're very happy. They don't have to look for a place to throw their pads. Next. And because there's a leak-proof layer, clothes don't get spoiled. Next. Menstrual cups are made of medical grade silicone. It's a 21st century design. Next. It just collects the blood. The blood collects in the cup. It doesn't change the blood, and there is no absorbing of the blood, and it sits in the vagina very comfortably. There is a learning curve for everything from ABCD to everything. There's a learning curve, but once you learn to put it inside the vagina and remove it once in 8 to 10 to 12 hours, this cup will hold up to 3 pads worth of blood. Right? Next. It sits there. This is the dead end, so it cannot go anywhere. Lot of people fear what happened with the copper tea, but there is no fear like that here. It stays comfortably in the vagina and can be removed without any problem. Next. There is a middle passage where it sits, the bladder in front and the rectum at the back. We have to train the young girls and the older women. Once they learn it, they will never ever go back to a disposable sanitary napkin. Next. So insertion is very easy. All of us, married women, you have intercourse and have no problems with the intercourse. This is exactly like that. This is the same size. This is what happens during intercourse. This is reduce the diameter of the cup. Instead of being size of a nimbu, reduce it to the size of a peanut and insert it inside and let it go, let it open up, and it will form a perfect seal in the vagina, and there will be no leakage. So no feeling of wetness, no feeling of itching, no feeling of rash, all that is removed. Next. So there is a learning curve, like I said. All of us have learned so many things. If you look across India, every woman uses a mobile phone. And if she has learned to use a mobile phone and now she has learned how to use UPI and transfer money without any problems, they can learn to do this. And once they have learned it, they will be forever comfortable. So 20, 30 years of their life, you are making them comfortable and they can do every sort of work. Next. So it requires women, all of us women, to help make other women comfortable. So if the head, the size of a coconut, can come down during delivery, then inserting this is no problem. We just have to remove the fear from our mind. And the best thing is for women to actually talk about it to each other, and then the fear will be removed. Next. So it goes through various stages. Initially, you are scared about putting this inside, then you're skeptical, then you're accepting it, then you say, wow, and then you will tell everybody else to change. Next. So cleaning it is very simple. You just have to clean it with plain water. No boiling, no soap, no detergent, nothing. Just wash it with plain water. This being made of medical grade silicone is smooth surface and nothing will stick to it. And remember that at the end of your periods, you have to remove it because it's so comfortable, you can tend to forget it. So it's what we women need to tell other women how comfortable it is. Where do you keep it during periods? You need to keep it in a box so that this soft silicone is in this and will not insects and lizards, sorry, and rats will not come and eat it up, chew it up. So keep it in a box, keep it as carefully as you would keep your Mangal Sutra. Next. Unmarried women can also use it. Remember, the hymen is not intact for any girl child. Otherwise, her periods would not be appearing outside. Sorry. Next.
You can have water, something.
नहीं है. Thank you.
आराम से और just have water and be comfortable.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So even young girls can use it, but the mother must be able to explain to the young girl. Next. Property pehne bhi, you can use it. There is no problem because the cup, when you remove it from this thing, you press it down like this, remove the seal that is formed and pull it out. The thread will not be pulled out. Next. So normally in a period, it's 50 to 80 ml. This cup holds 15 to 23 ml. So you can change it twice a day, maximum 3 times a day. You don't need to do it more often. Even if you bleed heavily, you'll never bleed more than a cup full in a day. So emptying it once in 6, 8 or 10 hours is more than adequate. So each woman must figure out for herself. It's like namak. Kitna namak daloge aap? The same way, kab aap cup nikaloge, you will know for yourself. Next. But it's less often than the disposable pad. So the advantages are many. The most important advantage is that you are so comfortable that you forget you're having your periods. So that's the important thing, and women find it so helpful. It's cost effective, no trash, no problem with this. There is no disposal. One cup can last you 10 years. So please keep it carefully in a place that you will find it. And especially, like I said, keep it in the box. Next. So you can travel light, there is no problem. And is not affected by rain. Next. All women, hardworking, office going women, everybody can use it without any problems. And the cup doesn't come out because the vaginal musculature will hold the cup in the vagina without any problems. Next. So you can dance, you can swim, you can run, you can do every possible thing with this menstrual cup inside. Next. Next. So how to spread the word? First, you have to use it and then you have to talk to everybody about it. Only then can we change the menstrual hygiene program in India. 336 million women need to understand and change. Next. So, like Amitabh Bachchan said, पहले इस्तेमाल करो, फिर विश्वास करो. If you only use it, will you be able to talk about it with conviction? And you're looking at me and saying, this menopausal woman, what is she doing talking about it? Well, I did use it one day to understand how difficult it is to put it inside and how easy it is to remove. So once you have used it, you will use it forever. So if you can use, like I said, the mobile phone, you can use this without any problems. Next. So which one do you choose? You choose the cup that is made in India because it is made of good quality silicone. It is not necessary to buy an expensive cup that is made outside. Lots and lots of companies make it in India. Buy the cup which has the smallest or no stem at all. So buy the cups that are made in India, made of medical grade silicone, not food grade silicone. Cups which are U-shaped is necessary, and you don't need a big cup just because you're tall and hefty. The small cup, the medium-sized cup is more than adequate. You don't have to use a big cup at all because the vagina is contracted when there is nothing inside it, when there's no blood. When the blood comes, the vagina opens up and therefore it will seal the cup nicely inside. Next. So 1 cup will replace 1,800 pads and 20 cloth pads. It's yours to choose. If you choose to use the menstrual cup, you will have a no rash, no cash, no trash program. Next. So it's a zero waster, economical, comfortable, hygienic, saves the world, saves you, and makes you absolutely comfortable during your periods. Next. So instead of having, feeling like crying during your periods, you can be smiling and even running a marathon without any problems if you use the menstrual cup. Next. From menarche to 16 to 18 years, please use the cloth pad. After that, 3 menstrual cup for the remaining days before you attain menopause. So it's like when you use the menstrual cup, it's like being menopausal. The benefits of being having your ovaries working, but not feeling the bleeding is what is important, gives us this special ability. Next. That's it, I think. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Meenakshi. It was such a informative, and even so many things I myself came to know. So I think that moment is a person like us who is so much, I mean, in gynecology, it's a eye opener. And the way you have, described and also, made the comparison, what we were, doing, because our fear is that one is for the copper T, because we, in general hospital, Kama and other places, all the time they fear that if already there is something inside, it should not. So that is wonderful that you have already explained. Also about the unmarried girls, or the fear of losing the virginity, or that also you have, I think, addressed it very well. And I think audience will love it. Wonderful lecture. Thank you, Gauri, for introducing Dr. Meenakshi and making this moment of this thing, menstrual cup. And menstrual hygiene has become so much important in our time, Gauri. We never thought of, we only pregnancy, delivery, tubectomy, this, and home, and after that we are forgetting. Swarna is here, Indian Menopause Society. Yeah, so all now they are concentrating more on menopause, similarly on the menstruation, and we were only reproductive period we were concentrating in our time. But I think wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Meenakshi, for being the part of our program and also become our member. You
Yes,
become
ma'am.
our member also.
Thank you. Thank you
So
so much.
I would just like to add, because we had this special Global Connect dialogues on the International Women's Day, and we had Professor Leslie Regan from the UK, who was our special invitee, who Madam had interviewed. And in that also she mentioned that, women will be menstruating throughout her life. She gets pregnant, maybe 1 year, 2 years she will spend in pregnancy. But menstruation, every family, every month, there is somebody who is menstruating in the family. And so this is not something which is unique to a woman. It is a family. I mean, it is universal. In every family there will be somebody who is menstruating. So this problem and this menstrual health has to be addressed more significantly, or rather equally significantly, as pregnancy is taken as seriously as that. And I also would like to add that I was lucky that I was not menopausal when I met Meenakshi ma'am, and I would be very happy to share my own experience that once I have shifted to a menstrual cup, I have not touched the sanitary pad again. The comfort and the ease of using a menstrual cup is way beyond, and I wish I had met her when I was still younger. So thank you so much for introducing all of us, and I hope we can take this forward, since we have made it as one of our major issues to tackle over the next few days. So Sonali, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, madam.
So Sonali, we have Dr. Suvarna who has joined. Madam was asking for her to talk about this project.
I want Dr. Suvarna as a Secretary General to talk about the WA. And of course, and then when the Dr. is very busy, he, PA is already there. He said as soon as he, free.
Yeah, he is trying to rope in him. Rope him in.
Suvarna, talk about today's WHO day and how Foxy looks you
Yeah.
know,
Shreyasi,
deliberate.
can we
Yeah, so
have
ma'am,
ma'am's CV?
1 minute, if Sonali can introduce Dr.
Yeah,
Suvarna to
I'll
all
just do.
the audience, that will be nice.
Yes, thank
Can
you,
we
ma'am.
have the slide,
It's not really
Shreyasi?
required.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
It is
today we
indeed
have
a
not only audience from India, we have audience also from outside India who are joining
today,
us. So
and
Fantastic.
that
we,
is why it is important that they all know who are our
yes, who
speakers.
is our Professor Suvarna Satish Khadilkar, madam. So, madam is a professor and head of Department of Obstetrics and Gynec and consultant endocrinologist of Bombay Hospital, Institute of Medical Sciences, MUH is granted. Then she's also the president. She was the president of MOGS MOGS 2024 to 25. She was the deputy secretary general of FOXY 2021-2024, vice president 2022-24, secretary MOGS 2021-22. She is the editor emeritus Journal of Obstetrics and Gynec, Jogi 2021 onwards, and editor in chief of Jogi. She was a treasurer of FOXY 2018 to 2021, president of Indian Menopause Society 2017. She's a new national secretary, Association of Medical Women of India 2022 to 2025. Ma'am is the President Association of AMWI Mumbai branch 2011 to 2016. She is the editor of 12 books, more than 100 publications. Madam is the recipient of more than 30 national and international prizes and awards. She has delivered so many orations, keynote addresses, invited lectures on national and international platform. Ma'am is the member of FIGO Committee of on Well Women Health Care 2021 to 25, member of the corresponding editor board.
Sonali, this is the older CV, just forget about it.
Yes, yes,
I'm currently heading the FIGO
yes,
Menopause
madam is the
Committee, and I'm the Deputy Editor in Chief of IJGO. But I think just stop the introduction, it is not necessary.
you can go on and on
It's,
about madam. It's such a
it's an
pleasure to introduce ma'am.
Thank you, dear Sonali. She is my real, sweetheart. You can say from JJ
Yeah.
Hospital. She is a very, very hardworking girl. And she was with me throughout. This particular day reminds me of my installation as MOGS president in 2024. And that exactly happened on WHO Day. So I was so happy that time to introduce the WHO theme, and back again here in 2 years later, 2026, I'm here to kind of celebrate WHO Day together for all is the theme, and I'm really very happy. And I just heard Dr. Meenakshi Bharath's lecture. It was a fantastic, deliberation that I heard. And we all have been talking about menstrual health and hygiene so much. But I think every time you talk to different group of girls, you know how ignorant they are. Every time you make them aware, you educate them, you go into some other areas, you travel across, and you find that many girls are still ignorant about this aspect of menstrual care and use of the cups, menstrual cups, which is so very hygienic, and it is environment friendly. I must say, as a Secretary General, just yesterday, I got a request from one of our very aware and intelligent member, and she's actually in the know-how of what is happening around in India. She called me and she said that there is going to be a bill passed somewhere. Now, which state and details I have, she's going to send me an email about that. That she said that during menstruation, women from 15 to 45 years are not permitted to enter any temple in that state. And it is going to be widely applied as a bill. And how, how backward we are going today. At one end, we are having so many technological advances. And at other end, we are going backward saying that women are not clean. Women can't enter temples during menses. Of course, this is a dharmic, you can say the concepts, adhyatmic concepts that no, women can't enter temple. But to have a bill to that effect, then I got alerted. And she said, Foxy must do something about this. I thought, no, women organizations will go and do agitations in front of the temple saying that you can't prevent, because basically the reason is that in temples you can't prove that woman is in menses or she's not in menses. So that is the reason they are prohibiting entry of all women. So this is what is happening, and news is coming up. I haven't got the details, but since it was so relevant to the talk that Dr. Meenakshi gave, I thought of mentioning this. And any of you have any information on this, please pass it on to Foxy. We are having an upcoming managing committee meeting in the last week of April. We can definitely take up if it is really relevant, and if it is going to happen, we must prevent it. I mean, if a bill is passed that women can't enter temples, I mean, temple is something, it's the energy that we worship. It is not necessarily the murti puja as we call. But even for that, all the energies gather in the that very, very holy atmosphere, and we get to get that energy from that God. And if you can't enter such a holy place, I think this is something not right. This is what I feel, and I will put it before the group with gynecologists, and we'll try and do something about it. Basically, apart from that, I was hoping to meet Dr. Ambadekar because I just recently met him at the chief secretary's principal secretary's office, where we had a meeting again regarding the women's health, and I have seen the passion with which he works. So maybe I will have to leave, but I'll introduce him. He has been a great asset to, I think, government of Maharashtra, the director, I think the post which madam you were holding some years ago, and we have seen madam's work also, what she had done as a director of health services. And she's not tired, she's still working. She is now gone on a global platform and working for women's health, and we really appreciate you, ma'am. And also Dr. Ambadekar, when he comes, please give him my regard. I was waiting for him to join because now I have another meeting. I may have to disconnect, and if I possibly I can come back again and just interact with him. Otherwise, the whole program is so very well curated. I can see so many good speakers are coming up. I think Dr. Meenakshi Bharath has finished her talk. Dr.Mrunal Phatak is going to talk. Then Dr. Sreelaxmi and our own Gauri is going to talk. I'm sure the way she is conducting this program is commendable. And my little young AMWI member, Sonali, congratulations to all of you, and the clarinet also, they are doing the great job. Thank you so much for having me here.
Purna, thank you very much. And also, one more point I want to tell you about the menstrual leave which government is actually planning.
Yes,
So
yes.
that,
I'm a part of that committee also.
so
We
what
have
happened?
this, yes, the bead episode, the Ustod Kangar, that also we are working on it. And I had attended that meeting also, and everybody is saying that people are really misusing and that kind of this thing, and getting everybody stigmatized. So, but I think there are only handful of gynecologists who are doing wrong things. But 90% of the gynecologists will not undertake anything that is unethical. I think we have to trust our own colleagues and peers that yes, they will not do something as unethical as doing hysterectomy of young girls.
No,
So
but
we
then,
So we have a lot of work that is coming in now, ma'am, that we have taken menstrual health. So we see not menstrual health only in terms of menstrual problems. We also see social, economical, and a lot of other problems that also we will need to tackle in our Together for All. So I think we will have to, we have a lot of work that we can really do under this heading and moving
and
towards
Suvarna,
an SDG
Suvarna
goal.
will be a
So
part
that is
of,
really wonderful.
yeah, we
So
are, just now we
can we
declared
move?
the 4-point agenda, and you are a very much part of it as a
thank
secretary.
you, madam. I saw your
Yeah.
wonderful
So,
logo, and the
so
theme
can
is just superb. So I think we are looking forward to your tenure as NWIA president. We will do whatever we can. We'll offer the best possible joint, efforts towards your mission, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Chala.
So,
Thank
Sonali,
you
can
so
we,
much, ma'am.
thank you, ma'am.
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
we proceed, Sonali, with
Yes,
Dr.
ma'am.
Mrunal Phatak? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Dr. Mrunal Phatak will be addressing on non-communicable disorders, growing numbers in medical fraternity. Ma'am,
We
can
have
we
a
have a
CV.
CV?
So, Dr. Mrunal Phatak is the
Madam is
president.
President of Academy of Physiology from 2017 to 2019. She's in charge of research cell of AIMS Nagpur, member of Institutional Ethics Committee, editor of Journal of Human Applied Physiology since 3rd November 2018. She's a reviewer of Journal of Applied and Basic Sciences. She's the external examination of University of West Indies in MDSC, and she's the paper setter, moderator of examination of various faculties of MUHS, Gujarat University, Karnataka University, AIMS and University of Mizoram, member of Planning Committee of MUHS Nashik for increasing postgraduate seats in Vidarbh region in Maharashtra since 2016, member of the Committee for preparing revised list of equipments in minimum standard requirement documents of MCI, member of Task Force of MUHS Nashik in 2019 for preparing the assessment methods for competency-based curriculum of MCI. Ma'am has got many awards: Fellowship of RCOG of Royal College of Biology, Fellowship of Association of Physiologists of India, Best Professor
Sonali,
in Physiology. Yes, ma'am. Over to you,
Sonali, I think her recent and most important designation is that she's the Dean Academics of and Professor and Head of Department of Physiology at AIMS Nagpur. So can we proceed with her presentation? Can we have the learned person handing over to ma'am? Shreyasi, can we have a presentation?
Yes, ma'am. I'm playing the video.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I thank the Association of Medical Women International for giving me this opportunity to speak on the non-communicable diseases, growing numbers in medical fraternity. Right. Now, why this matters here? Because the women of today, particularly the healthcare workers who are women, they are bearing a dual burden of professional work as well as personal responsibility. So they have to balance between the professional as well as their personal responsibilities. And this is leading to a significant underestimation of the non-communicable disease risk among them. If you see the global burden, the impact of NCDs worldwide, see that the NCDs accounted for about 43 million deaths globally in the year 2021, which represents about 75% of all the non-pandemic related deaths recorded. That's quite a huge number if you see the global number. Then the premature deaths, if you account for that, about 18 million of these NCD related deaths occurred before the age of 70, with 82% of them in the low and middle income countries. The major contributors of NCD burden globally is cardiovascular diseases, cancers, chronic respiratory diseases, and diabetes, which are also the leading cause of mortality. If you see the Indian burden of non-communicable diseases, there is the share of deaths due to NCDs in India has escalated from 53.6% in 1990 to 1.8% in the year 2016 and 66.4% in the year 2024. So this totally underscores the urgent need for targeted public health interventions in this region. If you see the size of the at-risk group, that is the women in the healthcare workforce, women represent about 67% of the global health workforce, highlighting the significant role and the urgent need of focused surveillance and research on NCD incidents within this population. The risk factors, which are unique to the women healthcare workers. If you see the biological factors, there are differences such as hormonal changes which can impact the women's physiological resilience and increase their susceptibility. There are a lot of occupational stressors to women healthcare workers like long shift hours, shift work, emotional labor, contributing to elevated stress and exacerbating the risk of NCD and other health. There are social pressures, societal pressures on women to balance the professional and personal roles. So they are expected to behave very good in their house, take care of the household, as well as be professionally very competent in their hospitals. So this adds to the stress and the strain and the likelihood of development of. If you see the chronic stress impact, the stress activation, the occupational stress, as well as the societal pressures, this triggers the HPA axis, that is the hypothalamic response, leading to physiological changes which are critical to chronic stress outcome. There is a persistent cortisol elevation which contributes to insulin resistance, promoting the metabolic dysregulation that can have long-term health impacts on these individuals. Chronic allostatic load transforms the initially adaptive nature of the stress response to a maladaptive nature, which then leads to a disease process and affects the health and well-being of healthcare. So this is the HPA axis and metabolic impact, where the stress response mechanism causes adverse metabolic outcomes, including insulin resistance, heightened glucose output, and increased central adiposity overload. There is also autonomic dysfunction with a shift towards the sympathetic overflow as compared to the parasympathetic overflow. This is reflected in the HRV, which reflects the autonomic nervous system flexibility, and it is a very good indicator of the shift of the autonomic function towards the parasympathetic or the sympathetic side. The chronic stress leads to reduced parasympathetic activity, resulting in a lower HRV, which signifies increased vulnerability to cardiovascular as well as metabolic disease. So monitoring the HRV can give you an early warning signal of this autonomic shift, aiding in actually screening these at-risk healthcare. There is circadian disruption in healthcare workers because of the night shifts, the rotating schedules, which disrupts this circadian rhythm, leading to metabolic imbalances, sleep disturbances, and heightened risk of chronic diseases among women healthcare workers. If you see the gender-specific amplifiers, there are hormonal influences, particularly estrogen, which affects the vascular reactivity and metabolic response as it is, and therefore this alters the resilience across the reproductive years. So this adds to the susceptibility of the women to the NCDs. There are various lifestyle changes through which a woman has to go, as pregnancy, postpartum transitions, menopause. This all impacts the cardiovascular reserve, often unmasking the already underlying condition and resulting in increased NCD risk in women. Again, the social pressures related to caregiving, the professional roles, contributing to stress, this increases the possibility of developing chronic health issues in women because of the different hormonal changes. Coming to occupational behavior patterns, how their daily habits can influence the NCD risk. Female healthcare workers have irregular meal patterns, like frequently they skip the meals. They have the habit of late night snacking or eating. This disrupts their metabolic balance and increases the risk of incidence. Again, chronic stress causes unhealthy coping mechanism like overeating. So this is known as, binge eating or reduced physical activity. They are too tired to do any physical activity. They're not able to sleep well or they oversleep. All these exacerbate their health risk. Physical inactivity is one of the major cause of NCD risk in these women healthcare workers, because they have very busy schedules and they do not have a structured exercise program. This can contribute to the weight gain and increased NCD in the women. So therefore, the best approach for these women, the healthcare workers, is lifestyle medicine first approach. So there is an evidence-based pillars for first line of NCD prevention, where you have got 6 pillars on which you can work. That is nutrition, exercise, tobacco and alcohol control, stress management, sleep, and healthy relationships or social. So what you can advise to the women healthcare workers here is that whole food, predominantly plant-rich nutrition, which can improve the metabolic health, support the weight gain or support the weight gain control, reduce the postprandial glycemic load, and tackle the insulin resistance or the inflammation. All of this can help in reducing the risk of NCDs. Structured physical activity can be provided to the healthcare workers at a precision medicine level, where you can actually see the duty roster or the schedule of the individual and give these structured physical activity, which can improve the insulin sensitivity, control the blood pressure, the endothelial function, elevate the mood, and mental health is improved, and also cause autonomic resilience. Even duty compatible movement plans can be provided to the women. Stress reduction is again a very important pillar. Restorative sleep. You can just sleep maybe 4 or 5 hours, but that can be restorative. So sleep hygiene can be practiced, and other measures of promoting restorative sleep can be provided to the healthcare workers. Avoidance of tobacco, alcohol, having healthy social relations with your peers. This all plays a very important role in reducing their risk of oncoming. Now, why this lifestyle medicine actually matters is because it targets the biology before the disease sets in. So it, you can say it rectifies the physiological changes which are occurring prior to the disease being established. Coming to mental health, it's a very important link between NCDs and mental health. So as we have said repeatedly, chronic stress can lead to a vicious cycle of depression, anxiety, emotional exhaustion, burnout, or a sort of giving up attitude. This can all lead to detrimental health effects. Recovery challenges are there where you do not get enough time to recover from the emotional and physical stress, and this can worsen the health outcomes of the women. Now, having a subclinical disease awareness by identifying the risks before diagnosis is very, very important in these women, because there are many undetected physiological changes which actually occur in these women before the disease sets. Particularly, you can go in for HRV or elevated resting heart rate. These are very simple diagnostic mechanisms or screening mechanisms which can be used and can detect the changes in the women earlier. Lifestyle medicine in practice, how do you translate it into prevention? So for primary prevention, you can include planned meal timing of the during the duty hours or during the shift of the healthcare worker, protected hydration, step goals or brief exercise blocks in between the duty schedules. You can advise them sleep hygiene, stress regulation, body weight surveillance. All this can form the primary preventive mechanisms. Secondary prevention will include periodic screening for blood pressure, for fasting blood glucose level, for HbA1c, lipid profile, waist circumference, the mental health burden, and the sleep disturbances. So this can form the secondary prevention strategies. And at the workplace, we should support lifestyle medicine model through healthier duty rosters, protected meal breaks, access to healthy food, recovery spaces provided at workplaces, and HRV informed and physiology led wellness monitoring of the employees. So the system support, how institutions can make it applicable to their healthcare workers, is that they should implement structured staff screening programs and risk stratification so that the women at risk can be diagnosed earlier. Circadian disruption should be avoided by creating recovery windows during the duty hours, because only lifestyle medicine advice is not going to work. We have to provide the work environment which is conducive for the women workers to implement this advice to their life. You can support by giving healthy meals with healthy canteens, with proper rest areas, psychological support, on-site exercise options, and visible leadership endorsements, which are very, very essential to convert the lifestyle medicine from theory to practice. So are we really listening? Are we understanding the hidden struggles of the female healthcare workers? That is a question all of us, we must ask ourselves and others. And it is indeed a very high time that we address this issue actively with proper measures, not only in India, but also globally across the institute. So I thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And if there are any questions, I would be happy to take it. You can email me the questions and I will be happy to answer. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much for the lovely, insightful lecture, ma'am.
Yeah, so this was an eye-opener on the NCDs that medical women are facing due to various reasons. And I think this is something which we all need to take seriously. So this is also one of the goals that we are going to address. So Dr. Sonali, can we move on to Dr. Megh's talk? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Now Madam will be addressing on women. Over to you, ma'am.
Violence against women and girls.
Yeah. Violence against women and girls.
Yeah. So, thank you. Thank you,
So I
ma'am.
would just like to tell the audience that Madam has been a very active member of the Special Interest Group of Violence Against Women and Girls at the international level. And she has been the global course director for this training program. And under her guidance, we did a lot of programs last year also. And the year before, we did one in the Central Regional Asia Congress at Bangkok, then at Zambia. In fact, we had a request from the Pakistan Association, and we did one special training program for Pakistani women also under this training program. So, and Madam has written books on this issue, and so she has such wide experience on this issue that that there's so much work to be done, and Madam has already done so much. So we have to carry this work forward. So I request Madam to talk on violence against women and girls with reference to doctor women. That why doctor women remain silent and they undergo violence. There are a lot of women who undergo violence at home, at workplace, emotional manipulation, financial manipulations, and there's a lot of work that we can do starting from India itself. Ma'am, over to you.
So you can see my presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Full screen. Can you make it full screen? Yeah. Yes.
So I think very important was it started with the all our training program, as Gauri has already mentioned, and I think we are committed this triennium also for prevention of violence against women, and more so for the violence against doctors. So today I'm going to emphasizing what is violence against the women doctors, and I'm going to give the strategies what we are actually going to implement and suggest to the policymakers. So, violence against women, we are doctors, but yet we are silent. So that is the theme, and that is the today's topic. So workplace violence is a very common, as already Gauri has mentioned. I like to mention our ancient, sutra, Manu Sutra. That is the Dhol Gawar Shudra Pashu Nari Sabhay Tadan ke Adhikari. It means drums, the illiterate, the lower caste, animals and women, they deserve a beating. So this was Manu's teaching to the generations of male that women are equivalent to the animals, women are equivalent to the illiterate, lower caste or whatever. I mean, they were all discrimination. So that is a psychology till now we are facing as a women, we are facing in the society. Role of, I will start in the beginning, as Gauri has mentioned, the Medical Women International Association and AMWI. Today I presented the theme. So elimination of violence is very important topic. It will remain till the time we find that the incidences of this violence is reducing, workplace violence is reducing, and women are getting the better treatment. Till that time, our AMWI will keep on working against it. I want to show this the latest picture. Workplace violence and gender discrimination was there in the highest post of the Maharashtra. Last time also I said Chief Secretary, Women Chief Secretary for the first time 2 years back, our this Chief Secretary was women first time. They were discriminating women even at the highest level. And we are very proud that Dr. Ashwini Bhide Madam has become the first woman commissioner of BMC in Asia's the largest municipal corporation is BMC, and now she's heading that corporation. So I think this is a very great moment for all the women, working women, that she has become the BMC commissioner. Now the workplace violence. If you look at the statistics, and we have done this shows the survey. The survey says that 70% of the nurses worry about their workplace. And 7 out of 10 physicians said that violence in emergency department is increasing. When I was in Kama hospital, once I was taking night round, so I asked one of the operator, I still remember her name, Porkar. I said, now you are 11 o'clock, you are in the cabin of this operator, and the doctors are also there. But madam, we are doing this, shift which lasts up to 11 o'clock, and then we go to home, that is Thane. It was so horrible. I said, you are 12 o'clock, 12:30, you'll reach home. So that is the situation of our doctors also. Like, though they are, 24 hours on duty, and even senior people in our time also, it was so difficult for them to, go in the night, and it was very unsafe. I myself was faced so many times in the middle of the night. My car was, punctured in front of High Court, and I was in the road, I was nobody. So, and I faced some antisocial elements were passing through 2-3 times. I was very scared. So that is the actually the situation of the women doctors, because they're all odd times, duties, emergencies. You just can't say that I was alone, this, that. It is so difficult for us to face such kind of. So 35% of the doctors in India feel unsafe while at the work, and as the
Hello.
shows. Now, two to
Hello.
three, आवाज येतो आहे. Two out of 3 health workers have experienced the violence and harassment at work, and 80% of the health workers experience violence. An incident is just the tip of the iceberg, a sign of much larger problem below the surface. So, if we look at the violence in general that the United Nations Assembly has declared in 1993, but the violence is an obstacle to the achievement of the objective of equality, and also it violates their human rights and fundamental freedom. So in the era of remarkable progress and innovation, it is troubling to see that how the treatment of women is, the women are being treated, and the perception of women continues to be stereotyped, ingrained in society about the acceptable behavior. So despite policy reforms, growing awareness, women still encounter innumerable challenges and creating their sense of security and well-being. Policies alone haven't enough to ensure the safety. So as the women breaks the barrier, rise to the influential level, the organization must recognize the challenges surrounding them, mainly catering to the safety. Women in the workplace encounter challenges which are typically physical safety, impeding both physical and mental well-being. So what are the sources? When in the hospital, what are the sources? I remember that one in the OT, one of the resident was just rushing to me, madam, there is a table death. I said, it is a matter of, such a grave thing, and you are just informing the relative like that. I said, no, you are not supposed to do that. But I have told the relative that the patient is a table death. I said, what nonsense. I was so much scared, and that the person routine laparoscopy was. This was a Kama hospital incident 20-30 years back. So, our doctor has to be taught how to, give a the information regarding any seriousness or any, death or something. I myself have seen so many times when I took the class, I told them, otherwise they will beat us in the operation theater itself. We will have a violence against doctor. So sources of violence, we only create sometimes. So it may be former employees, patients, criminal and terrorist. Kama hospital, a lot of criminals coming, a Kasab, and everybody was there in the labor ward itself. You must have read about it. Then workplace violence is a beating, stabbing, suicide, shootings, rape or threats, and violence by the co-worker are the personal relation strangers. These are types of violence. And what triggers? What triggers? I remember they used to come, Madam, माझी night duty लावली. Madam, परत माझी night duty लावली. Or, suppose CR, something goes wrong with the CR, or their, the financial, some bills are not passed. So these are the types of things which may lead to the violence and the dispute, alcohol, drug abuse. So many times we have seen there are, many rooms in the Kama hospital. So in one room, there were some anti-social activities going. So superintendent or any other RMO, they're supposed to go and see what exactly is happening, inform to the police, so on and so forth. So what are the statistics in the workplace? Violence is a homicide is the fourth leading cause of death in the workplace. And these are few of the figures which I'm not going to read. But the economic impact is very much, because if the employees are facing women employees are facing the violence, then a loss of such a huge loss is there as a lost work days each year. Lost wages also is a 55 million annually, and lost productivity, legal expenses, property damage, diminished public image. There are so many things which keep on happening if there is an incidence. So this is a Hathras gang rape case and the Kolkata case, and there are, whenever you open any newspaper, after 8 days or 10 days, you get such kind of gruesome this thing. And we were in Bangkok when this happened in the month of August in Kolkata. That medical doctor, the trainee PG died. That time we have written this statement and we have given to the Kolkata, this West Bengal ministers, chief minister, international. So this is a statement, and this is the role of our international organization. This is the role of AMWI, that we protest. We ask them to take into the policy. This is itself is a proof of our leadership, that what exactly we can do when there is such kind of incidences. This is the new executive committee where I am the president-elect AMWI. Now the structural roots of violence against female health workers. So this Kolkata incident is mentioned here, and what happened and what was the cause, etc. I think we all know about it. So I'm not. Now, what are the different types of harassment which occur? One is physical safety, that is a sexual harassment. And then second is the workplace violence, harassment contributing to the emotional trauma, productivity, hostile work environment, simply superficial policies without effective, thorough implementation does nothing to safeguard the interest of the women. Then there is a physical assault. Then we have this negligence by the authorities. Then psychological safety, that is a discrimination harassment. I think Mrunal Phatak has just mentioned in her the talk, that even the slight kind of discrimination or harassment or chronic mental stress may lead to the the less they can become mentally depressed, and so many things can happen if there is a continuous discrimination harassment. Also, we have to see the safety is the key to the productivity. It unlocks the door to a thriving and secure work environment. Bullying, intimidation, even on a senior post, we also have faced so many times this bullying by the male counterparts. Even at the senior level, it was quite horrible. Then limited opportunity for advancement. I just mentioned that in bureaucracy, the chief secretary was also not given, women was not given the post of the highest ranks. So companies are lacking the power to promote the women leadership, which lose out diverse perspective and innovative ideas that drive success. Such gender biases only contribute to the decreased job satisfaction and reduced engagement and high resignation, etc. So this is our chief secretary, female. Just now she retired, and now she has given a charge to the other person. Now, most important for all of us is the work-life balance. I think Leslie Regan also talked how she raised her daughters, and now how that is a wing to fly. I think Gauri is going to describe it very well. The cycle of work-life balance is so important. Even though so many PGs in the NHS system, they are leaving the job because there is nobody to look after the children, raising them, going to the school. So many responsibilities are there, and there is a nuclear family. In our time, there was, the combined families, they used to uncle, aunties to look after children. But now, because of the nuclear family, it has become increasingly difficult to manage the home, husband, children, etc. So these are the multiple responsibility. Women struggle to maintain the healthy work-life balance, resulting in stress, burnout, and disengagement. So organization must recognize. They should give them the facility. For example, creche for the newborn children, if they are bringing them support, providing flexibility. Timing flexibility is also important. Somebody has to leave the children, then come to the office or something like. So this all has to be, incorporated into the policies. Now, just now we spoke to, Suvarna also spoke about the pregnancy and maternity leave. So, pregnancy is a celebration of life. It's all right. But women find discrimination at the workplace once they are pregnant, and then when they come back, the attitude of their fellows, the colleagues change, because 1 in 10 said that the treatment by colleagues changed negatively, increasing by 16%, and 15% were held back from promotion. So, I remember in our AMWI National Conference, Dr. Megha Gadgil was there. She said, I have given them the verdict that the promotion cannot be held back if she is pregnant and she has gone for the maternity leave, because the one lady was refused the promotion. So on and so forth. We should be having very positive thinking policymakers also. Lack of support, I have already mentioned that we are nuclear families and it is very difficult. Providing training. Now, how the employees handle that situation. If she goes and tells anybody, colleague, or even there are committees in each hospital, there are committees to complain about it. So how they handle is also very, very important. So we have to create a culture of respect and inclusivity. Shaping the culture of respect and inclusivity is very important. And but we are falling short at many places. But I think we should create a very positive environment, increase the open communication. We should ask what is wrong with you, why you are depressed. So you are preventing some kind of, say, suicide or some kind of very severe action which one person or doctor may go. I think, Sonali, we must have read very recently that the Maharashtra is the first state to, implement the resident rules, where the 153 hours they were
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
getting this, and now because of that there were many suicides. Not only women but men also. There are, I think, 100 suicides in last 2-3 years. So we are excessively worked by the seniors, and we are 24 hours there. So I think all these policies has to change, because we really require some very positive mental. We are becoming doctors. We are not slaves of the government or or any system. And there are sexual harassment policy, Vishakha guidelines are there at the workplace. I was a part chairperson of, and I have, conducted many inquiries about that. So this also, everything should be. So we have to create awareness and encourage the women to express. Role of human resource department is very important. The person who is sitting there, they should be very they should be having sympathy, empathy. They should be, tackling that with lot of what I'm saying, with lot of seriousness. It should not just be okay. They should be treating that particular complaint with lot of this seriousness, and they should try to solve the problems. Internal complaints committee, every hospital is having, every organization, companies are having. Vishakha guidelines are there. leadership accountability in women's safety, leadership accountability like CEOs, even their companies are there. The company hospitals are there. Now we have these multinational companies, hospital is there, card and all those things. There should be dedicated, must be there dedicated this thing, and then requiring for committing to the women's safety, addressing reported issues, transparency, all these things are required. Maternity support, all these things. Now, just now, Gauri has already mentioned that we are conducting training for our medical staff, how to examine patient, how to do counseling. So these courses have become very popular. We are conducting in all the countries, and this year also, now we are again starting. And I will request you people to be a part of this particular, training, global training program. And this is our and what are the laws? Actually, one should know what are the laws for the women, so for the protection. So these are the protection of women from the domestic violence 2005. We are having this. Then we have guidelines for the doctors. This POXO Act is also their protection. Then we have this guidelines for safety of doctors and medicals, zero tolerance guidelines. Just now the guidelines are implemented. Sonali, you know that now
Yes, ma'am.
Maharashtra, we are implementing the guidelines. Then the police post should be there in the hospitals. Even the small hospital, 100-bedded hospital, there should be some police post there. So in the premises, so that people should not go to the main police station and things like that, so that it becomes, and they feel very secure. Chalo, police post aahe tikde. So, in the hospital, they feel little protected. And to implement appropriate security measures, regulate the entry of public and patient. We should be very strict with the passes, because the main problem occurs with the relative. Even patient becomes serious, so many lady doctors, women doctors, residents were almost killed because of wrong communication or visitors pass policy. So many relatives came coming at one time. I think one should be very, very strict with that. And to prepare the health staff to deal with the crisis taken attend. This is very important, that if there is any serious patient or something, so other class 3, class 4, all people should be, trained. It's not the responsibility only of trainee doctors or even the senior doctors. Then the IPC protection of the doctor 320 already I have mentioned. And so these are the few of the laws related to the protection of sexual harassment, Nirbhaya. Then we have protection for the POXO Act, then the prohibition of child marriages, then violence against women, domestic violence. All these laws are there, of course. It should be implemented properly. And this is one survey of the London, that in NHS staff, that NHS staff, including ambulance workers, they say they are being harassed and they are assaulted at work. The Royal College of Nursing chief professor said these figures incredibly disturbing. So this is the just now 3-4 slide. We have this Domestic Violence Act. It is a very positive act, because here they give a lot of power to the women. She can stay in the house, she can have the children with her, she can have the money from the, I think this act is very good. So how we going to do that? It is a multi-pronged approach. It is at multiple levels. It's as a policy maker, it's at a level of society, you can see. So one person is not going to do that. So everybody has to be, in coordination with so this is a roles and responsibility of the policymaker, that they should recognize the violence. There should be protection officer. The government's policies also there. Training is very important. Even judges, police, everybody. So many people, they do not know the POXO Act, they do not know the PCP entity, they do not know the MTP Act, and they have their own version, and the unnecessary, so many doctors have been punished or behind the bars for the wrong interpretation by the police officer. So it takes leadership to improve the safety and to deal with the violence against women. We have to improve the status of the women, empowerment of the women, education, support, peer group. And the most important is a women organization like AMWI and MWI play a very, very important role in doing, and I think we will be continuing doing this work till the time the violence is almost negligible or zero. So with this word, I'm all the time having this very favorite of this: thou shall not be a victim, thou
Yes,
shall not
yes.
be a perpetrator, but above all, thou shall not be a bystander. So thank you very much for your patient listening.
Thank you, madam, for the excellent talk and a very, very insightful lecture, ma'am.
Thank
Now we
you.
go ahead with the next lecture, which will be on mental health of medical women across generation by Dr. Sreelaxmi Vaidyanathan. And can we have the CV, Shreyas, madam? Yeah. Dr. Shreyasi Vaidyanathan, madam, is MBBS, MD, DNB, Associate Professor of Department of Psychiatry at AIMS Nagpur, in charge of School Mental Health Clinic, AIMS Nagpur. She's a lead and primary coordinator of technical working groups of child, adolescent mental health. She has more than 10 years experience in clinical psychiatry, teaching and research, awarded many PG certificate in childhood and adolescent mental health. Her core focus is on child and adolescent maternal mental health. Publications, she has a lot of publication on sleep disturbance, ADHD, problematic relaxation therapy, tardive dyskinesia. She's been awarded as the Dr. C. Pinto Best Research Paper Award for exemplary research work, Dr. P.C. Shastri Award paper, and Psychiatry Society Western Zonal Branch Research Grant. Beyond academics, she's interested in singing, dancing, and painting. She's already working across the ages, and ma'am will be today talking about mental health across the ages. We welcome you, madam. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I just share my screen. I hope my screen is visible and I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. So I would love to thank the organizers for this opportunity, and a special thanks to Dr. Mrunal Phatak, who has got me in touch with the organizers and thought about me for this topic. So, like my introduction said, my primary area is to do with children and adolescents, but I think when it comes to children and adolescents, you cannot ignore the parents and most importantly the mothers. And I do spend a lot of time interacting with many of the women doctors or medical women medical staff in the hospital who bring their children for various issues and often get to hear a lot about their own mental health struggles and difficulties. So some of this talk is based on available literature. Unfortunately, there isn't much when it comes to Indian literature that is available. And a lot also with experience my own as through the years, as well as what I have heard from many others. So I just wanted to, this was something which very profoundly struck with me when I was reading through various literature. So just take a second to listen to this. The most common and frequent microaggression that many probably do not even realize they have committed is the ever so often, "Oh, my nurse is here," comment from patients when I enter their room. It doesn't matter whether I have rounded on them for days, spent a few minutes or hours in discussion, whether I'm planning on operating on them or have operated on them. Without a fail, at least once a week, it seems that this occurs. By no means do I desire to say that being mistaken for a nurse is a bad thing, but I am never mistaken for the doctor. Unfortunately, our society has not matured into understanding that women hold such positions as doctor and surgeon, and this will occur if in scrubs, when in public, in a white coat, or in office dress clothing. So this was a description given in a qualitative study by a female surgeon who had experienced something like this. And I think it struck a chord with me because it took me back to all the days of now. Of course, when you're faculty in a college, it's a very different experience. But as residents or even as MBBS students, this was a very common experience we've all faced. And another person in this actually went on to share the impact that something just as simple as this, I have put it down in the further text, where the patient just said, are you really the one who's going to do my surgery? No, I'm not okay with it. And then eventually comes back because there is no other option. And the impact something like this had on that woman before she actually went ahead with the surgery. So it was just a lack of trust shown by one patient and the level of impact it had on the mental health of that woman surgeon. So this is something from an article that was there talking about various biases and microaggressions, and I think it very beautifully portrayed the impact that something like this can have on all our mental health. And what I am looking for is across generations, so right from when we are as students all the way to across senior practitioners as well. And what we do know is that it is a definite national burden. When we are looking at mental health, we are all aware about how now there is a lot of talk, including the ministry level talks going on about mental health. People have become more vocal about it, are more open in discussing mental health issues, though unfortunately, even as medicos, we do not really address this much. And I think as women, all the more so, we very often lack in this. And the numbers have just skyrocketed, especially after COVID. So in general, physician burnout is very high, 83%, but whatever little literature is available at looking at the gender disparity, it definitely shows a higher percentage among female doctors, with 80%, 87% of female doctors reporting mental exhaustion compared to 77% of their male peers. And baseline itself, this difference is there, not just at the level of physicians, but even at the level of students, where if you look at, there are studies which have given a comparison of 52.2% among male, but 69.5% among females. And it's when you look at the stressors when in the male population, you look at the words like clinical workload, clinical competence, financial earnings, whereas here there are a lot more things added on to all of that. So it's not just the workload and competence, but a lot of the factors. And I must say the organizers have very well thought through today's program, because you made my job very easy. A lot of the risk factors or the factors which are connecting with mental health have already been covered very beautifully by the previous three speakers as we were going along in today's talk. So all of this is an added burden when it comes to the life experience of women doctors or women, medical women, and it definitely takes a toll on their mental health. And just a touch on burnout, because many of us are not really aware. We wait till we are at this last stage to figure out. Initially, when we enter into medicine, we are all very, in the honeymoon phase. Everything is great. We enjoy seeing cases, we enjoy doing things. But as things move along, if we are not taking care of our mental health habitually, we do at some point or the other go through various stages of burnout. And we often don't recognize it when it is at the lesser stages, where it is just a little bit of, pushing things away, feeling persistently exhausted or tired. Most of the time, we write it off to our workload. We have a lot to do, and so we're not able to do it. But when it starts affecting our ability to deal with patients, when it starts affecting our ability to manage our own workload, we need to take a step back and think about what is happening and am I really going through burnout? Most of the time, we don't do that. We keep pushing until we reach a stage where we have actually developed either some form of an illness, like Dr. Phatak pointed out about how stress and the HPA axis and its effect leading to various kinds of non-communicable diseases, or we are burnt out to a stage where we are actually undergoing syndromic depression or anxiety and need to go in for treatment. So just a word of caution to all that when we are in these stages where we are more towards chronic stress or the initial stages of burnout, in these situations, just taking a short break or just stepping aside for a few days is enough to kind of get us back on track. So we need to be very watchful of where we stand. And if we look across the generations, well, right throughout, there are definite differences or biases. I mean, all of us, I'm sure, have had our own personal experiences, and nobody asks a male doctor or when they are during their final year or in internship that abhi to padhai ho gayi hai, why don't you get married? Let's start looking for a girl. For them, it is most of the time the thought process is, oh no, you need to study. What is the next? Ye post graduation mein kya karna hai? How we are going to earn? But right then and there, that social discrimination sets in. And for many women who do go through with marriage at that stage, it is a nightmare preparing for PG, working as a postgraduate, getting your in-laws or family to actually understand what residency means. I mean, it's next to impossible to explain that to someone who's expecting that every family function you have to be present, or for every situation you have to be there. Why are you not able to take care of the child? So all of this bias, the societal discrimination, is something that is just there throughout, and one just cannot. Of course, times are changing. There are changes which are occurring, and I think the more and more generation of women are getting empowered. They are also working towards. I know many senior doctors who take care of their sons' children or things like that, so that their respective bahus are at the hospital or clinic. So mindset is changing, but it is going at a snail's pace or very often slower than that. And it is a difficult aspect every day. So right throughout, all of this kind of discrimination does increase the stress levels. The course in itself is definitely stressful, which is why during residencies where we usually see a peak of mental health issues that occur. There was also a reference in some of the previous talks about the increased levels of suicide that we're seeing among residents. So this is definitely where highest we look at those things. And I think one of the factors also very often that comes in is lack of a female mentor who's present. Because a lot of my issues as a woman, someone has gone through that or is going through, is in a better position to really understand that. So I think this also very often leads to, I cannot really go and talk about some of these things with a male guide or a male mentor. So these things do limit how much we can actually deal with situations. And of course, during early career or end of residency is when we talked about pregnancy. Almost everybody puts a full stop or at least a semicolon to their practice or their career journey when you're going through that phase, because the physical needs are so much, and those who do manage to push all of that aside and get back into career also are hit with a lot of other caregiving goals as well as the domestic responsibilities. You do have someone managing that. A lot of people go through a lot of guilt of leaving the child very early, guilt of dealing with the situation, missing some of the very important aspects in the child's growth. So this double burden is something that definitely impacts. We do see clinically a very large number of cases of medical women who go through postpartum blues or postpartum depression and have difficulty dealing with, especially when coming back to work. Madam previously mentioned about the mindset that people have when a woman has come back to work from pregnancy. There is a lot of myths also about how women are more emotional, they cannot deal with very big responsibilities. That kind of gender bias which exists also starts coming in the higher up you go the ladder. And somewhere that's where the glass
Hello.
ceiling.
नमस्कार. माहिती मॅडम.
हॅलो हॅलो कोण गीते बोलताय का? गीते, जस्ट अ मिनिट. सॉरी मॅडम. सॉरी.
No.
Sorry, there is some, that director of health services, I think. डॉक्टर आंबेडकर जॉईन झाले वाटते तुम्ही?
हो मॅडम, जॉईन आहे.
आणि मम्मी यांचं जरा लेक्चर फार चांगलं सुरू आहे मेंटल.
या प्लीज कंटिन्यू मॅम. मी ऐकतोय त्यांचं. इंटरेस्टिंग आहे.
व्हेरी इंटरेस्टिंग अँड व्हेरी नाईस.
आय एम लिस्निंग मॅडम. व्हेरी व्हेरी इंटरेस्टिंग.
प्लीज कीप ऑन कंटिन्यू प्लीज.
प्लीज.
Thank you.
Sorry, Sreelaxmi, you can continue.
No issues, ma'am. So when we look higher up, Madam has already very pertinently brought up that higher up in the leadership. So the word that we usually come across, breaking the glass ceiling. Women are struggling even now in those positions. It's very hard for people to even imagine that kind of responsibility. Though if you ask me, I mean, the entire household is very often left to the responsibility of a woman. You're managing so many things, but then when it comes to the workplace, there are so many question marks which are raised. And that mindset, unless it changes, the underrepresentation is never going to shift. So that also, because that even if I am a leader, I am a woman leader, I am under a constant stress of being reviewed for that position. I mean, in addition to all the roles of or the responsibilities of that particular position, I have this additional burden or aspect to look okay. And if someone is in a higher up position and their family life goes for a toss, nobody asks a question. But if it's a woman there and their family life is going berserk, or they are giving more prominence to career over certain aspects of family, it is always brought up front your question. Is your work really so much more important?
Sonali, जरा off करा.
So you're asked the question that is your work really so much more important than your child's life or your family's life or taking care of an elder at home? So these kind of discrimination in itself very often increases the stress levels and brings a lot of mental health burden on women, leading to much higher reported incidences of anxiety, of depression, like I said, of postpartum depression even, as well as a lot of psychological distress. And like I said, the peak usually you tend to see more during residency and internship, where there's a lot of confusion. So with most women, when they are finishing PG, if you ask them of super specialty, if you ask them what next, there's a huge question mark in front of them. Because for most of them, it is, oh, आता म्हणजे at home, they are looking for marriage. घरी लग्नासाठी बघत आहे. Wherever that is decided, I will have to figure out my career accordingly. You very rarely hear someone say, I have decided where I'm going to stay and, we'll figure it out. So right from there, that stress level, that anxiety, all of these issues do come in. And of late, retirement is also something, because earlier you would not really see so many women in such high power positions or working till so much later in life. Now that that has come, just like how we talk about post-retirement blues or difficulties with men, we see a lot of similar situations in women as well. And that is something that we need to genuinely think about and consider what actions we might want to take. So this is just, I mean, one of the studies which was there. So there are that much literature abroad, mainly pertaining to surgeons, that they had enough studies to do a systematic review and a meta-analysis. So just to highlight how little we have done in our country to really put together information. And I think for any policymaker, unless you have things in the form of numbers, things don't move ahead. So this was a meta-analysis published in October 2025, which was looking at the gender-related disparities in mental health and parenthood among surgeons in America. So they looked at 8 surgical specialties, 5 countries from the Americas, and there is a definite increase in female surgeons in burnout, in depression, in exhaustion. And this was a very interesting thing, I thought, that female surgeons less likely to have children. So that choice that is being made of family versus career is much more when you're looking at a woman. So I thought this really portrayed what it is and gives us scope also to look at what we might want to explore further if anybody is looking at further research domains and what we want to look for. Madam very beautifully brought out the safety element. So we talk about Maslow's pyramid in psychology. You need to have your basic needs met before you have higher needs. So unless I have physical safety and professional dignity, I cannot talk about mental well-being. If I am all the time under a force of threat, if I am not feeling safe, I cannot be calm, I cannot be out of distress. And statistics show that though there are a lot of mechanisms in place, out of fear of retaliation, out of workplace visibility, the reporting is still very, very low. And in fact, I have come across, like Madam said, I have also been one of the members on ICC, and I've heard people make comments, women make comments, in fact, like, हाथ तो नहीं लगाया ना, तो फिर ये sexual harassment कैसे हुआ? So we ourselves need to educate ourselves regarding the law, what POSH says, what the Vishaka Committee guidelines have said, what the various laws say, so that we can stand up for ourselves and for those with us. Sometimes we may not be in a position to speak. So unless we bring that forth, there would not be. So without physical, lack of physical vulnerability, mental well-being cannot come. And like I said, the geriatric age group is also something that we need to genuinely think about, because that sudden loss of professional identity, lack of independence, and before, Phatak ma'am talked about NCDs. So a lot of women doctors suffering with obesity, with diabetes, with hypertension takes a toll on later life. And that affects physical mobility as well, leading to a lot of, dependence as well as a lot of isolation. So this definitely needs to be considered when we are looking at the future. So when you look at factors, a lot of things we've listed out, broadly, we can say biological, psychological, and social or environmental. And if you have listened to what I've spoken over the last 5 minutes, the social or environmental is a huge chunk when you look at the factors which affect the mental health of women. Biologically, yes, we are more vulnerable. Literature over the years has shown that women are more likely, 2 to 3 times more likely to develop depression when compared to men. So definitely biologically, we are more vulnerable. Yes, during pregnancy, during the menstrual phases, also we are more vulnerable. So that does affect us. Psychologically, women are generally looked on to bring more empathy into the picture. And that is where emotional burnout is also more common. So our own psychological mechanisms of dealing with difficult situation comes into play. And then, of course, social or environmental. How the systemic structure goes, where there is overwork, there is cultural patriarchy, there are hostile workplaces, and very often, even if things do manage to somehow come all the way to the top, there is institutional silence. So there is a need to work. When you're talking about mental health, definitely early identification and treatment is important. We need to stand with each other, support each other, encourage for seeking treatment, seeking early help. But along with that, we need a lot of systemic changes as well. So where Madam also spoke about more flexible work hours. So even career pathways, there was the discussion about maternity leave and lack of promotion because of that. So this whole aspect of a very linear career pathway, you go this way, then next, then next. There needs to be some kind of flexibility that occurs there. And it's not only about quantity of work, but quality of work also. I think all women who are attending this would agree. In a short period of time, in a certain manner, we get so many things done very efficiently. So that should count for something. And of course, ensuring representation, leadership, mentorship that comes, formal mentorship program where safety can be discussed, where aspects related to the issues that women can face can be discussed. Support groups, again, when we are talking about workplace related, we can encourage a lot of on-site counseling or support groups where women can actually come up and brainstorm. So when I'm alone, I can't really come up with a solution. But when I'm together, I can work forward and come to some kind of, actual solving of issues and representation to the higher ups or administration to go somewhere. So these kind of regulating duty hours, enforcing zero tolerance for harassment policies, gender sensitive policies, and having an infrastructure which supports mental health as well as women health. So these aspects call for a lot of change, but I think if we keep working, little drops of water, little grains of sand make a mighty ocean and a pleasant land. So we cannot expect women doctors to be endlessly resilient in a system that is not. So we need to work to protect the mental health of women doctors as a defining factor in the public healthcare system. And now it's not just for individual coping, but we need to work for structural and lasting change. So thank you very much. With this, I end my few minutes.
Thank you very much. That was beautifully brought out. And whatever previous speaker has spoken, you have taken it, to the next level. And I think our director is already there. He is also in charge of the mental health, director of health services, and he is so much, listening to your talk because it is giving such a great insight. What I said in the promotion, my director will tell, when I became the first deputy director, I had to face so many challenges. It was almost the breaking the, I can say, the ice. Because they never thought that women can become deputy director. They thought we are clinicians, we have to do surgery, we have to do deliveries. That is all. And they used to tell me, Madam, तुम्हाला परत आता कामा हॉस्पिटलला जायचं आहे. Why you want to break your head? So they, from that on, we came to the very high level. So that was wonderful talk. And I think Gauri, we will keep her inviting for our mental health is a very big section of our 4-point agenda. You must have seen that.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yes,
I
yes.
think you be on our advisory committee, on our faculty, and we will really love to have you. I think let us now. Thank you very much, Gauri. You want to say, and then we have the
No,
Ambadekar.
no, just wanted to say big thank you, Dr. Sreelaxmi. We just had a word yesterday, and she has covered all the topics, all the issues so beautifully that right from the residency to the geriatric age group, medical women have different issues, and I think this has really highlighted everything so wonderfully. And some subtle points. Sometimes we normalize so many things that we are going through. We normalize our stresses and we think it's normal to have something like that, but it's after a particular time that you realize this is burnout, this is stress, this is NCD, and that is at the doorstep, and then you're in the geriatric age group. So I think that is a wonderful presentation. Thank you, Dr. Sreelaxmi. And I think we can proceed. Shresi, can we have Dr. Ambedekar's biodata?
Yes, ma'am.
And later on, please put on your video so that we can take one photograph.
Yes, ma'am. We still have 2 talks to go. So, Dr. Ambedekar, sir, I hope you are here with us now. Yeah. So, sir is an MD in preventive and social medicine, and he's a senior public health professional, director of health services, Mumbai, and he has 3 decades of experience in public health governance, policy formulation, program management, research, and he is the director of health services, Government of Maharashtra, and in charge executive director of the State Health Systems Resource Center, Maharashtra, and also contributes as adjunct faculty at the Public Health Foundation of India. And he has had leadership roles at various levels, and Madam has already described his role and his work in the National Health Mission, the WHO projects, and the statewide services that he has already offered. Sir, when you were not, when even you were not around, Dr. Megh has given us such an explicit introduction to your journey, and we are really happy and privileged to have you here today when we are gathered here to talk on our World Health Day theme, Together for All. And our theme of AMWI for the next 3 years is going to be Her Health, Nation's Wealth, and we are looking at addressing 4 main issues: menstrual health and hygiene, mental health, violence against women and girls, and non-communicable diseases. So, sir, can we have your address?
He's in car, I think, and he's looking very dark. Yeah.
I think
Yeah, but
No problem. We
okay.
can hear you.
his thoughts, ma'am.
Ma'am.
So, we're happy
Thank
with
you. Thank you for introduction, and also I must thank Dr. Madam for introducing and giving me this opportunity, because Madam is way senior to us, and we know how actively she works when she was in the department. Uh, the only thing is, like, I was a little bit late because of other meetings, but I was listening to few of the last presentation. It was really wonderful and in fact insightful, because these are the areas which are like we are prioritizing now, because lately we are like only more focus as a public health department on the maternal and child health, but still in that also we are concentrating on the few of the issues: maternal and child mortality, basically morbidity and mental health and NCDs and quality of life. These are some of the issues which are not in fact they are pressing important, but may not be on the priority agenda because of all other sort of thing. But now with all the broader horizon, we are NCDs, mental health, menstrual hygiene. These are all issues which we are looking at. Like basically, we are looking at very continuum of care for the woman and child. And in fact, not only woman and child. If we what we feel is if we go for a continuum of care, it's not only women and child who will get. In fact, it's the whole of the population because everything is comes under that. When you from birth and life up to at any stage, so that is what is our like. We are basically at this stage. What ma'am was initially talking about medical professionals, female medical professionals, I think. But if we see, like, if I see the women or females, those who are colleagues, my colleagues, those who are working with me so hard in a Mumbai office, it's really surprising. Like. How they could be able to manage all the things because they are like uh, managing home also, office also, traveling to Mumbai office also because uh, I am the otherwise a privileged person being a male because so basically I don't have to worry about like what is happening in the home unless and until my wife says ki I am on strike today, so otherwise I don't have to bother about it. So in that sense I can work, but what is happening is we still feel like uh, when I compare like my colleagues are working, sometimes we feel like why I am working more and why these my female colleagues had some liberty not to work and go early. But this thought still comes. Despite we are like talking about mental health, all the well-being sort of talk, but still come. And I think in many of the offices and in culture, this could be still a factor which will actually hampers the progress and the well-being of the mental status of the woman. So we need to definitely work on that. We are also working like recently last year we piloted one thing like perinatal mental health, what we are talking about, and we are trying to escalate all this perinatal mental health in our mental health strategy to those of the all the pregnant women. And then lot of work we are trying, like we are now uh, modulating some AI based mental health counseling programs in the state so that we can, there is a lot of deficiencies in our pool of mental health professional in the public health. So we need to actually upon these technological improvements of what we are getting it. So we need to move. Actually, we are trying to move. We have historically we have 4 mental hospitals, and up till now we are thinking these mental hospitals are only the thing which we need to do. But uh, the lot of things we need to do now. We are moving to the community, and because recently there are many suicide happens in the even tribal schools, tribal ashram schools, females suicide where they're like we historical things like in the rural area there may be less, or in the tribal area there may not be a mental health issues, but they are, it is universal phenomenon, and we need to look into to that into in that fashion only now, because when we are coming up to the NCDs also, this probably mental health is one of the biggest issue which may be reduced, that will increase morbidity and at least quality of life may be suffered because of that. Menstrual hygiene, we are, in fact, this is one of the basic RCH program we are doing it, but what we are lacking is the proper education on this. So in fact, we are doing like we are supplying, providing free of sanitary pads. Sometimes we feel like some sort of it providing sanitary pad does make our like our aim we have fulfilled of providing the menstrual health, but that is not. That's a simple mechanism. Now we have one menopause clinic also we have started in our setup. That is also a coming area in which we think our attention, aim, and support is really required. So there are many areas in which state government is also realizing that now we need to move beyond our conventional sort of caregiving to the broaden horizon. And we are working on that. We definitely look forward to support from organizations and dedicated uh, people, personal developmental partners who can help us into all these areas because these are newer to us. Basically, we are not historically, this is not being explored in the health system because our needs are sometimes very different. But with the changing time, these are the major needs which are coming up, and we definitely think with the state government, all developmental partners, we are able to do something. Actually, I don't know in short term or long term goals how big impact we will be able to make considering our all priorities. But definitely, we have started working on this and advocacies and policy advocacy from developmental partners. Our professional organization will definitely bring or keep us in the right track for all these issues. I think this is what I just wanted to say because all the research and that type of things you must have already explored in your deliberations. So I just wanted to say we are definitely aligned with all these issues and will definitely work with you. Your support is definitely required for us and we'll work together. Thank you for giving me a time again. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nitin. And it's such a pleasure. You are just like my younger brother. And we had a long history, and my history is also known to him that what kind of worker we are. And Dr. Nitin, I will like to inform you that I have made the public health department proud because from public health, I am the now national president of Association Medical Women of India, and now I have become the world president. So I am the
Congratulations, ma'am.
thank you. And this all because of working in the field. I worked in, district, Dharni, Amravati, district women hospital, Chandrapur, camps, and all that experience. And then assistant director, deputy director, and bureau chief. I think tremendous experience I got in the public health. I treat it as my own, the very foundation of my success is my public health department. And you all were there. You were as a DHO and all this. And most importantly, you just have not seen that. Actually, I want to share with you just a minute. Please tolerate because see, I just want to tell you that how we are. Doing this program of the कुठलं गेलं ते आपलं कुठे गेलं ते Yes, I wanted to show him how we are नाही ते कुठे गेलं our program of the this 4-point agenda I wanted you to see मला share करता नहीं होणार आहे but then anyway so we
Yeah,
are
ma'am. You can share the PPT also with me on the
हा
WhatsApp.
मी तुम्हाला पाठवते आणि what we are doing is national and international level of what you said like mental health we are definitely for the counseling. Second is menopause clinic. Third is menstrual cups which just before you came now Dr. Meenakshi beautifully though we can take as a pilot project. I will request you because we have a lot of budget. So
Definitely we can take.
Because when I was there as a deputy, we used to take a lot of World Bank, this project, that project, and we made it very successful. So I will like you to think about this menstrual cup, this pilot project. So that will be very interesting. Then we have this menopause clinic where we have all the specialists, and third is about the mental health where we can, and then domestic violence. Of course, we are. I am the Chief of Training, Dr. Gauri Karandikar from Nashik. And I really want to tell you a very important thing that I met your HFPTC Deputy Director in Nagpur. And he said, ki, I said, ki, because I was HFPTC, Dr. Pushpa Thorat was there. So I told him,
Yeah.
see, Nasik we have the center, Thana we have center, many places we have center. So we like to be the faculty and we will like to be the part of the training, because that is a place where you train medical officer, you train, you know that.
Yes, ma'am.
I feel
Yeah.
required
Definitely.
that.
Sure.
So we'll write a letter to you from
Yeah,
our,
definitely, ma'am. Whatever way you
yeah.
want to participate, we'll definitely.
Yeah, and we will take it further. We will become a part of this great collaboration. When I was director of health services, I used to call Foxy. Then we had this emergency obstetric care. We gave the 60 lakhs rupees that time. We had just started the emergency obstetric care base.
Yeah.
So many projects. World Bank, you must be in foreign training, including I have done. So I think we are totally into collaboration already. I will approach you and.
Yes.
We can be a part of the government because
Definitely. Yeah.
you know about us. So thank you very much
Thank you, ma'am.
for your all encouraging word. And you are just like my younger brother.
Yeah.
He's from Amravati, Gauri.
Yeah.
And I have and he has seen me when ministers were there. Madam, tumhi evda active hai. He always used to say, Ata, it has already 10 years when before that. And
Yeah.
Really.
so
So
thank you.
that is really, thank you so much, sir, for
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
taking out this valuable time from your schedule. We know we have been pestering your PA also for some time because
Yeah, ma'am.
because
Actually,
you were in an important meeting. So thank you so much for making making time for us.
And meet
thank
you.
you, ma'am. Thank you.
So thank you so much, sir, for being with us. And I would like to assure sir that we are there as because madam believes in collaborations, and so we are there to
Yeah.
collaborate with as many organizations and take our 4-point mission forward. So definitely, sir, thank
Yes.
you again from AMW and from madam for gracing this occasion.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. We look
Thank you,
forward
sir.
for your work. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. So we'll just move to the last part of today's final presentation. Is it visible to all?
नाही अजून सुरुवात व्हायची आहे.
Yeah, so I would like to come to the end of today's session. We have had wonderful talks from all our speakers, and it has been as we've had such eye-opening things right from menstrual health, menstrual cups. Then we had the violence against women, the non-communicable diseases, and the mental health to put it all together. So this program was made basically when we had a small meeting in Mumbai last month, and then where we all came together and we said we have to start with ourselves first. As medical women, we keep working for patients, we keep working for families, we keep working for society, but what about ourselves? And this we said that we will start with ourselves. So together for all, starting with you, that was our project that we have actually brought it to today. And in this we took up because women make up almost 70% of the global health workforce, and yet we are not represented well in the leadership. Then we also have a lot of NCD's mental health issues, and her health is just not personal. It is a foundation of the family and the national productivity, and that is why we have taken this theme of her health is nation's wealth. And AMWI has been in place in the history is of 119 years. It's a 1907 established organization, and our goals are aligned to the SDG. It's a pan-India program that we are planning to implement, and it is starting with you. So that is starting with women. So we had, along with the delegate link, we had a small quiz that we had circulated, and which we got amazing response, and we had given different personality issues. We had given 8 scenario questions based on real life, and what kind of women doctors do we have in our country, and this was what we found, whether they are warriors, trailblazers, anchors, or the whisperers. And we had these questionnaires, and we had different case scenarios right from the family background to the working, and we had different we scored the women, we gave them a self-scoring system. And here we had also asked them if they are years of practice that they put in. So we had women representing all years, like right from their residency to up to 25 years more of practice. And we found that Indian women doctors, almost 58.1% were anchors, and 25% were whisperers. And we had very few trailblazers and warriors. So we realized that Indian women per se, by and large, although this is not a randomized control study, but it is just an eye opener that we are steady by nature. We lead with courage. We are and steadily daily and are dependable, trustworthy, empathetic, and often in the face of systemic bias, also we still maintain our steadiness. Secondly, as Dr. Sreelaxmi also pointed out, that mentorship is missing. We need women doctors to come together. We need mentorship where our seniors, and as seniors, we mentor our younger women doctors, support them because we have been through them. We know how now it is known how these things affect women doctors. And burnout is a quiet crisis, and whether it is violence at workplace, at home, or wherever, and also, in their personal lives, and also at workplace, we see that burnout is seen and it is important, and they are healing for the future. Because we found in this study, most of them, they were very hopeful. We had one question is, how would you look at your juniors? And they say, no, we are hopeful, we will help them. And so this is a very nice, powerful intergenerational solidarity that we saw in the quiz. But what women doctors want from AMWI is, one is mentorship programs where seniors and juniors are connected throughout the country. And now we have this young AMWI initiative where Dr. Sonali will be, taking up as a representative of the young AMWI, less than 40 years, all right from postgraduate residents to 40 years. It will be a big mass of women doctors who will form the young AMWI, and they will be helping us to grow this mentorship program along with all the mentors that we have here today. Like wellness and mental health go hand in hand. We need to have some channel, some place where we can address all our issues. So that is something, creating a network of mental health support. Again, where there are biases and barriers, then we need some legal policies, and also we need to have leadership training, because that is something which is we have to have more Dr. Mandakini Meghs going to the world level, representing India. So together for all begins with us. Change does not begin with grand gestures. It begins with one woman, one step, one day. In a world increasingly driven by artificial intelligence, it is a human touch that remains irreplaceable. So Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that the world is one family, and so is AMWI. So AMWI is one family, and we need to drive that culture within all of us. And healing, it begins with each one of us. So today we are announcing that we are going to have 4 working groups, each one on menstrual health, one on NCD, one on mental health, and one on violence against women. So madam has asked anyone, whoever, any woman doctor who wants to work into any of these groups, please go to the website of amwiindia.org. You can become a member, but more so you can write to us into which working group you would like to, give your contribution, and we will definitely try to involve as many of you, because we have such a big workforce. We have the biggest workforce of women doctors in the world, and I think then we can make a change. So thank you so much, everyone. And I would like to thank Clarinet for giving us this platform. All our speakers have been so wonderful. Our chief guest for today, Dr. Ambadekar, in spite of his schedule, he has been, with us. Dr. Suvarna, Dr. Mandakini Megh, ma'am, of course, Dr. Sreelaxmi, Dr. Meenakshi, Dr. Mrunal Phatak, ma'am, and Sonali for in getting all this together, and the Clarinet team for putting all this together for us. I think we've already over exceeded our time, so I don't think we have time for questions today. But yes, you can write to AMWI India on our webpage. You can find the email, any questions, any suggestions, and we need to take this forward. Thank you so much. Together for all, we will continue to work.
Yeah, so thank you, Gauri, for that wonderful conclusion, and making us feel, making all women doctors, so important into this program. And I think as a AMWI, as you say correctly, that we are going to take it forward. We are together, and today we discovered mental health specialist here, and I want you to, Dr. I want you to please become a member, and become a member of our mental health. This is something which will take us to the next level, I'm telling you, because we were lacking in this mental health thing. So today only I'm sending you the form. Put all the presentations in the group. And I must thank from my side to Dr. Nitin Ambadekar. He is in, synchronized with our policy, because there are many administrators who do not understand what we are talking about. But for us, we are so lucky that, and we want Gauri and Doctor to we take it further, because I'm going to meet him, and we suggest our people's name or the doctor's name, women doctors, that these people can help you. And even if you can't come to the Bombay, Nasik, we have HFWTC, the health and family welfare training centers are there, where we can take our member. It's not necessary that we take only medical officer. We can have few of the members training and a collaboration. Similarly for the mental health, similarly for domestic violence, which we are already doing. So I think with this, I consider this program to be very academically brilliant, and we had a wonderful speakers. And I think Gauri, you did quite well, very nice. Thank you very much. And we look forward for many such programs where it is a thought provoking and policy making, and it actually having the senior administrator to look into the matter. I think that program becomes quite successful. So with this,
Thank you.
wish you all the best for this World Health Day. And I have posted for the international groups also, so that they might have joined from their link also. And thank you, Mrunal, for giving us Dr. May I'm forgetting your name, Dr.
Dr. Sreelaxmi.
Sreelaxmi, and be a part of this our program. And
Yes, and
Dr.
Meenakshi as well.
Yeah, Dr. Meenakshi spoke so well. I want to take her menstrual cup project to the Director of Health Services. They have a budget for the this kind of projects, small projects. They can experimentally they can do. They can do in the
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Dharni, or any area.
Yes, ma'am. We had done it in Nasik last year with Ashima Mittal madam, and we did this menstrual health product, menstrual hygiene project with Nasik Jilla Parishad.
We
So
must have this.
this is definitely on the cards, and we will do it. Thank you so much, and I think can we end the program, ma'am?
She wants to say something.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving us the opportunity to host the session today. And we hope to have you again on our platform very soon. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
And you are going to have this a link also in the group, that whatever recording
Yes,
is
ma'am. We
done.
will share it.
Yeah, I see the Nagpur people also joining, and so many people there. So thank you everyone, all the viewers also, for this participation. Thank you.
Can I say a word?
Yeah, please.
It was a beautiful program, which I thought was a completely different perspective of OBGYN and their duties in life. Thank you very much.
Vandana, thank you for joining as a Vice President of the Central Asia. Thank you. Chala, okay then. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.